فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي الجنة. صدق الله العلي العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين وقاتل المشرقين عليا حجة الله. حي على السلام. حي على حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله وصلى الله على سيدنا مولانا محمد وآله وسلم
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All praise is due to Allah, whose worth cannot be described by speakers, whose bounties cannot be counted by calculators, and whose claim to obedience cannot be satisfied by those whom attempt to do so, whom the height of intellectual courage cannot appreciate, and the divings of understandings cannot reach. He for whose description no limit has been laid down, no time is ordained, no duration is fixed, and no eulogy exists. He brought forth creation through his omnipotence, dispersed winds through his compassion, and made firm the shaking earth with rocks. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Dear brothers, dear sisters, respected elders, I'd like to extend my condolences to you all, and firstly to the Imam of our time, on the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Tonight is a very hard night for the family of Rasulullah. In fact, it is harder than the Zuhr of Ashura. For tonight, the women, the children, and Imam Zainul Abidin are helplessly being taken towards the marketplaces and as prisoners, Those people who were the pride of Arabia once are now being humiliated. So please do keep that in your minds and in your heart during tonight's Masaib. But before we proceed on to the program, a few announcements which is extremely important that I do make. Number one, unfortunately, the toilets are out of order for plumbing reasons, and only in case of an immediate emergency, we may be able to facilitate. In that case, just do turn on your hazard lights and a volunteer will approach you. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Secondly, we are honored to be able to announce that from September, inshallah, the Hawza Ilmiya classes will be open in London, and the poster should be on the screen for you all to view. You can learn jurisprudence, fiqh, the science of hadith, and many more to extend your knowledge of our beliefs and our creed. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. For the brothers and sisters who are attending as of now, I'd like to repeat my statement that the toilets are very limited and we can only facilitate, unfortunately, in cases of emergencies. So please do bear with us and please do forgive us for any shortcomings. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Hujjat al-Islam, Sayyid Hashim Musavi, who will continue his talk. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Habib ilahil alameen Abil Qasim Mustafa Muhammad. Wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. وَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَىٰ أَعْدَائِهِمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. I hope that your morning, dear brothers, sisters, in these days, in these important nights, days, has been accepted by our beloved Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and we are able to have more Ashura and more Tasu'a for next coming year and show our love to our beloved Imam Hussein alayhi salam. On these nights, especially tonight and the following nights, which are called Shaam-E-Ghariba for the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, a huge calamities have befallen on Hazrat Zainab salamullah alayha and Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, which were really a heavy calamities and destroying calamities that only great personalities like people among the family of the Prophet were able to endure these sort of calamities. In our previous session, we asked one question, we raised one question, that whether the Ashura movement and the uprising of Imam Hussein alayhi salam has a special or specific meaning only for the Muslim, or even it can apply to non-Muslim. And the second part of this question that was that up to now, how much or how many steps have been taken to introduce this great uprising to the non-Muslim. In this session, we are going to answer the second part of the question which I mentioned just right now, how many steps have been taken or what we have done to introduce Islamic or Ashura movement to non-Muslim. Unfortunately, to answer this question, I have to say we have done nothing, if I'm not wrong. We haven't done too much things to introduce Imam Hussein alayhi salam to non-Muslim. The maximum thing which we have done, all our efforts are limited to mentioning the suffering of that noble man for the lovers of this great person, for the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, which is a very worthy and necessary action in its own place. But there is a question. Whose responsibility is it to guide the billions who are not yet familiar with this model for mankind and the ark of salvation? If Imam Hussein alayhi salam, according to the hadith of the Prophet, it's Misbahul Huda and Safinatul Najat, if it's the beacon of the guidance, it's the ark of salvation, if he is the real model of guidance, so how can one be sure that a young person who's seeking for guidance can find this real model? So we will find a very big responsibility here. Unfortunately, our speakers and Zakirin at the top of the minbar with a great power, epic, and passion try to introduce Imam Hussein alayhi salam only to the lovers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and express the characteristic of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, a lesson of martyrdom, while the main audience, millions of audience, who are the majority in this city, in this country, in this world, okay, are in complete ignorance of these majalis and this beacon of guidance. You can tell yourself how many of your friends are aware of this kind of majalis, non-Muslim friends. So these are the responsibility. If they had enough knowledge about this superior model, the main audience will raise and seek to participate in such a gathering. Therefore, our most important duty towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam is to properly introduce him and his message to the neglected audience of this message. If this message is conveyed well, if we are able to reach this message very well to the audience, then it will definitely be followed. As Imam Reza alayhi salam said, Imam Reza alayhi salam, he says, لو علم الناس محاسن كلامنا لاتبعونا. If people are aware of our goodness, our words, if people are aware of goodness of our words, definitely they will follow. So if they did not follow, it means we are not able, or we were not able to bring this new message to the neglected people, to those who are qafil. Unfortunately, I have to say that even the Shiite youth are not completely familiar with this uprising and its goal. If you want to know who is the hero for the humanity, what kind of factor he has to have, I can mention few of them, then you will find all this is with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. First of all, his work was not for his own personal interest. As he said, إِنِّي لَمْ أَخْرُجْ أَشَرًا وَلَوْ بَتِرًا وَلَوْ فَوْسِدًا وَلَوْ مُفْسِدًا. So he did not work for himself. As I said before, if he was looking for his own interest, he could accept the offer of Bani Umayyah and then he could have a very luxury life in his time. But he refused. The second one, his uprising was against oppression, and this issue is not specific only for Muslim or any particular religion or denominations. The third one, in his school, you can find all kinds of people sacrifice their life. Black and white, Arab, non-Arab, male and female, young and old, all of them. So it's not necessary for one part of the religion. And his goal is to free people from ignorance and misguidance and to reach the truth. All these factors you can find in a national hero, in a hero for humanity. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam is the right person to take this title, to get this title, and to be called with this title. We hope that in this great month, we will be able to use the opportunity of mourning to introduce this blessed name of Imam Hussein alayhi salam as the hero of humanity to the whole world. I thank you, my dear youth, brothers, sisters, who with this innovative action found a very beautiful way to mourn for Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam in the current difficult situation. I'm really thankful of all of you. And I ask you to find a way. This is a kind of request from me to all of you, my dear brothers, sisters, especially to the youth. And I ask you to find a way that the message and words of this great Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the ark of salvation, the beacon of guidance, reach out all people around the world, both Muslim and non-Muslim. I'm really thankful of all of you, and thanks Allah that gave us this tawfiq to be with you and to be all of us to be in the service for our beloved Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. If I may, I'd like to reiterate that we are delighted to announce from the coming September, i.e. from the start of the academic year, Hawza Ilmiya will be taking in enrolling students onto their course. You can learn about jurisprudence, fiqh, and many, many other topics and sciences that are mentioned on the screen. This is a very good opportunity for all the mu'mineen and the mu'minat to get involved and learn more about their own faith and better themselves as human beings. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our dear brothers and sisters, as you can see in front of your own eyes, Muhibban really did embark on a huge project this year for the benefit of our community, for the benefit of you guys. We decided that we're happy to spend a large amount of money, 50, 60,000 pounds, so that you can interact and hear the majlis of Aba Abdullah. And from the feedback that we've been given, we are very happy that we took this step. And inshallah, in the coming years, we will be more willingly taking this step. However, as mentioned before, these events do not take place without the support of you, our dear brothers and sisters. And it's been a tough push, and alhamdulillah, we are only £4,000 short only £4,000 short. Yesterday, we raised £4,000 in one day. And just one final push from our dear brothers and sisters. And inshallah, tonight we will also reach that £4,000. So please do bear that in mind when the donation buckets are coming around. Without further ado, now I'd like to welcome our team who will depict what tragedies befell on the Ahlul Bayt on Shaam-E-Ghariba. Please welcome him with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The declining sun was now casting lengthening shadows on the plains of Karbala. It seemed that Hussein was waiting for the inevitable hour to come. Perhaps he was waiting till the time of evening prayers so that he could go out into the battlefield after offering them. With faltering steps, Hussein entered his camp to bid farewell to his sisters, to bid farewell to his daughters and other ladies of this house. His presence drew all the ladies and children of his family rushing to him, and they surrounded him. He went over to each lady and each child, and most affectionately and most lovingly, he gave them his last farewell. Turning around, Hussein saw his dear little daughter, Sakina, standing near him. She was looking up towards his face. She appeared to be speechless and dazed with grief. The sorrow depicted on her innocent face tore Hussein's heart. Hussein embraced his daughter in what felt like an everlasting embrace. The father, the daughter, clung to each other as if nothing could part them. When Hussein could somewhat control his emotions, he softly spoke to Sakina.
Oh, my darling daughter, you must go back into the tents. Remain with your mother. Remain with your mother and console her. After the death of Ali al-Asghar, your mother's heart has been torn.
Father, tell me, will you return? Are you leaving me forever? Oh, Father, how will I live without you? When you brought the dead body of my brother Ali Akbar, I thought his loss would kill me, but you were there to console us. When you informed me that my uncle Abbas had gone, my heart broke. but you are here for me. Tell me, Father, when you are gone, who will be here for me? Father, I can't let you leave me. For my sake, please stay with me.
Saying this, Sakina wept. Hussein was stunned and broken by the innocent pleading of his Sakina whom he loved more than anything in this world. With supreme efforts, Hussein controlled his feelings and said,
My dear child Sakina, how shall I explain to you that I must go out to meet my death, as others have done from this house? How can I explain to you that this day I am fighting the battle for the cause of truth and righteousness? And I cannot sacrifice them for the sake of all that I hold dear to my heart. Oh, my dear child, remember that I will go today, and you will follow me to heaven, and we will rest there for eternity. My child Sakina, do not hold me back, but with a smile on your innocent lips. My child, say goodbye to me.
Father, you say that I will join you in heaven after some time. Promise me, Father, that it will be soon. I can't bear to be away from you. Promise me that you will come to me in my dreams so that I can see you. If you promise me, Father, at least I will have something to look forward to every day. I shall wait for the night to come so that I can talk to you in my dreams.
Hussein's heart was bleeding, and the innocent words of Sakina made him weep. They embraced each other once again, realizing that time was now running out, and hearing the cries from the enemy's army calling him to the battlefield, Hussein said,
My Sakina, my beloved child, I promised you what you are asking for, my darling. You also promised me that you will be courageous and strong. Remember to remain close to your Aunt Zainab and your dear mother. Oh Sakina, take care of the children around you.
Sakina murmured softly,
Father, I promise you to face all the suffering with courage. I will be strong for you, my father.
Hussein could not find any words to reply to his innocent daughter. The sobs of Sakina and Hussein were punctuating the silence that pervaded the camp. Silently, Sakina rose from the embrace. She kissed her father goodbye and returned to be with her Aunt Zainab. She saw him remain there for a moment before he stood and faced the battlefield. Sakina raised her small hand and bowed in salutation to him, in salutation for the last time.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Our dear brothers and sisters, from the feedback we've been getting, many of you have said that you have thoroughly enjoyed the narratives that we perform, and it gives you an opportunity to gain closeness to the Imam. And so, for these narratives to continue and for these events to continue and for the opportunity to sit together in the majlis of Abu Abdullah, we need your support and we need your help. And I'd like to thank every one of you over the past 10 nights who have been supporting us, whether you've been attending in person or watching from home. Like I mentioned before, we only need to raise £4,000. This is a very small figure, less than 1/10 of our actual budget. And it's more than possible to do it in one night. So if I could implore every one of you to really dig deep in your pockets and inshallah give in the way of Abu Abdullah. And on the day of judgment, collect your reward from him, and what a reward you will get. Not to mention that we have come such a long way, and we've only come such a long way with your support. And so for the health and for the safety of all the madhumeen and the madhumat present in the majlis and those who are watching live from their homes, please recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. I'd now like to welcome a dear friend, a dear guest who will recite the Madsiyah of Shaam-E-Ghariba, Brother Tawqeed. So if you could please welcome him with the loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please recite a second loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा, जागती माँ ने कहा मेरी मासूमा सो जाए, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा, जो तुझे खौफ है शायद मैं उसे कम कर दूँ, आज आँखों पे तेरी ना दे अली दम कर दूँ, दूर क्यों बैठी है आ मेरी मासूमा सो जाए, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा। 4 बरसों में ना ज़हमत दी कभी तूने मुझे, अपनी खिदमत का मुझे आज तू मौका दे दे। होगा एहसान तेरा मेरी मासूमा सो जा है, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा। साबरों का ये करीना तो नहीं है बीबी, ये है परदेस मदीना तो नहीं है फिर भी। करके बस शुक्र खुदा मेरी सकीना सो जाए, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी मासूमा सो जा। बाप के सीने पे आदत है तुझे सोने की, मेरी गोदी तेरे काबिल तो नहीं है फिर भी। है मेरे दिल की सदा मेरी मासूमा सो जा है, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा। कैद खाने में जो आ जाएंगे तेरे बाबा, खुद उठा दूंगी तुझे शाना हिला कर तेरा। अच्छा कुछ देर जरा मेरी सकीना सो जा है, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी मासूमा सो जा। मुझसे देखा नहीं जाता ये तेरा दर्द जिगर, ये बताते हुए अच्छा तो नहीं लगता मगर। अब ना आएंगे चचा मेरी मासूमा सो जा है, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा। इस तरह सोई तकल्लुम वो खजीना बीबी, माँ उठाती रही उठी ना सकीना बीबी। फिर ना बानों ने कहा मेरी सकीना सो जा है, आजा असगर की जगह मेरी सकीना सो जा।
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على Muhammad وآل Muhammad. Without further ado, I'd now like to welcome our respected guest, Maulana Sayyid Jawad Qazwini, to the minbar to recite the Masa'ib of Shaam-E-Ghariba. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum.
أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا على سيدنا ومولانا الشهيد الغريب المظلوم العطشان أعظم الله لك الأجر يا رسول الله. أعظم الله لك الأجر يا سيدي يا أمير المؤمنين. أعظم الله لك الأجر يا سيدتي يا فاطمة. أعظم الله لك الأجر يا سيدنا يا صاحب الأمر. اللهم أرنا الطلعة الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة واجعلنا من الطالبين بثأر الحسين. اللهم العن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي شايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الخد التريب. السلام على He came out of the tent on the 10th of Muharram. He looked around him. He saw the slain body of his companions. He called them one after another. يا مسلم بن عوسجة ويا هاني بن عروة ويا حبيب بن مظاهر ويا ابن شبيب, one after another calling their names. Then he said, ما لي أدعوكم فلا تجيبوني. Why is it that I'm calling on to you and you don't respond to me? Stand up in defense of the haram of Rasulullah. Then he responds and he says, وَكَيْفَ لَكُمْ ذَلِكَ وَقَدْ قُطِّعَتْ رُؤُوسُكُمَا. How would you be able to respond when your heads have been severed? ألا هل من ناصر ينصرنا ألا هل من معين يعيننا. Is there anybody to come to our rescue? Is there anybody to fear Allah and to stand up in solidarity with the family of Rasulullah? This was the call of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. We say to him, Ya Sayyidana, Ya Aba Abdullah, though we were not there amongst the shuhada on the 10th of Muharram, we say to you, Ya laytana kunna ma'aka ya Sayyidi. We wish we were there. Our children were there. Our fathers were there so that we can all be a sacrifice to you, Ya Sayyidana, Ya Aba Abdullah. ألا هل من ناصر ينصرنا ألا هل من مغيث يغيثنا. No one came to his aid. He went to the enemies. أنت المعزى يا صاحب الزمان. Every while he would return. He would say, Bismillah wa billahi wallahu akbar. He would come near his camp. He would praise and glorify Allah, so the men, so the women, the children would know that Hussein is there, that he's being protected, that they are being protected. Traditions tell us that Imam al-Hussein even managed to enter into the Euphrates, into the Alqami. He was about to drink water. One of the mala'een in the camp of Umar ibn Sa'd. Then in that moment, say Hussein said to him, Hussein, how can you enjoy drinking water while the men have already entered your camp and they are taking the hijab away from your woman, from your haram? They say Imam al-Hussein did not even wait a second to drink the water. He returned to the haram of Sayyidah Zainab, to his woman, to the children. Every while he would return. It would be the last time that Ruqayya, Rabab, Sukayna, Kulthum, his sister Zainab, would hear his voice. Suddenly, instead of hearing the voice of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn, wa waylah wa musibatah wa Husaynah wa shahidah, they saw that the horse of Imam al-Husayn has returned, but this time without his master Husayn. As-Sayyida Zainab went and stood on what's called the hill of Zainab, Tellu Zainabi. Many of you have seen Tellu Zainabi, she went there. She ran towards the Tellu Zainabi. She saw that her brother Hussein has fallen into a ditch. He's surrounded from every angle. Allahu Akbar. He raises his voice, Ilahi, in kana hada yurdik, fakhudh hatta tarda. Oh Allah, if this is what pleases you, then take until you're pleased. Allahu Akbar. Imam Zainul Abidin is informed. He says, quickly open the door of my tent. Allow me to see the skies. As soon as he glances at the skies, he calls out, Wa Abata, Wa Husayna, Wa Shahida, Wa Madluma, Wa Muhammada, Wa Aliya. The misery of Al-Muhammad has begun. They came on to the campsite of Hussein. This time there is no Hussein to protect them. There is no Abbas to protect them. There is no Ali al-Akbar to protect them. They took them, the women, the children as captives. I want to make this night brief for you, brothers and sisters. I know that you're all tired, and I want to take you all the way to Kharabat al-Sham, to the ruins of Damascus. They paraded ala Rasulullah, the family of Hussein, from one city to another, until they put them in the ruins of Damascus. They say that evening, Hussein had a 3-4-year-old daughter. She began to cry in the middle of the night. They said to her, what is it that's making you cry? My father was just here. He was kissing me. He was showing me love. Where did my father go? They said, your father has gone on a long journey. When is my father Hussein going to return? The woman of Al Rasulullah, the children all began to cry with Ruqayya, the beloved of Hussein, Babul Hawa'ij. The cries reached the palace of the Mal'un Yazid. He said, why is she crying? Why are there so many cries coming from the ruins, from the camp of Hussein, from the area of the women and children of Hussein? They said, this is the 3-year-old daughter of Hussein. She misses her father. He said, fine, take the head of her father to her. اذهبوا بها اذهبوا إليها برأس أبيها. Allahu Akbar. They came into the ruins of Damascus. They said, here is what you ask for is in this basket. This young girl, she said, إني ما طلبت طعاما. I did not ask for food. Why have they brought me food? They said, no. What you have asked is in this basket. This baby girl went close to the basket. She removed the cover from the basket. Aywa Husayna wa madluma wa shahida. There she saw the head of her father Hussein. The amama had been removed from the head of Hussein. The beard of Hussein was full of his blood. The head of Hussein was filled with his blood. Yes, in that moment when the head of Hussein was filled with his blood, when the beard of Hussein was filled with his blood, they said they heard the call of a woman saying to him, Bunayya Hussein, Fatima Zahra was there saying to him, Hussein, it is moments until you are met with the Malaika. Tonight, a night like this was the night of ease of Hussein and Abbas and Ali al-Akbar. But it was the beginning of the calamities of Zainab and the yateems of Hussein. She uncovered the basket. There she saw the beheaded head of her father Hussein. She held the head. She put it close to her heart. She says to him, oh father, من الذي حز الرأس الشريف من الذي أيتمني على صغر سني. Allahu Akbar. She cried and she cried, saying, wa abata, wa Husayna, until they no longer can hear the cries of this girl. Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, Amma Zaynab, go and rescue this girl. They wait, they go to her. They see that she no longer is alive. The baby girl of Hussein, the yatima of Hussein, was the very first martyr from the camp of Hussein after the 10th of Muharram. They returned to Medina. I tell you, they returned to Medina. And then 40 days later, Sayyida Zainab and the camp of Hussein, they returned to Karbala. They returned to Karbala. As Sayyida Zainab from the top of the she-camel, she no longer can wait. She no longer waits for the camel, for her to descend from the camel. When she sees the grave of Hussein, she throws herself on the grave of Hussein. She says, Habibi Hussein, Nur Aini ya Hussein. I have returned, but I have returned without one of your amana. Because he tells her, Zainab, take care of my orphans, take care of my aitam, especially Ruqayyah, because she most resembles my mother Fatima Zahra. We say to him, Ya Sayyidana, Ya Mawlana, Ya Aba Abdullah, accept this humble azaf from us. Write our names amongst the azadars. Write our names amongst those who gave solidarity to you and your family. We have our hajat, we have our needs, we have our shortcomings to you, Ya Aba Abdullah, with your generosity, with your kindness, with your compassion. We ask forgiveness from you, from your mother Fatima Zahra, from your grandfather Rasulullah. And we say to you on this final evening, alongside your children, alongside the woman, Ya Sayyidana, واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. All of you have hajat, we have hajat, I have hajat, we have marhumin that have passed away from this gathering. From your families, they are in need of this thawab to be shifted towards their graves. Let us give this majlis to them, all of us together, to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, Ya wajihan 'inda Allah, ishfa' lana 'inda Allah, Ya wajihan. Ya وجيها عند الله
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك عليك مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعل والله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Oh, brothers and sisters, tonight is not a normal majlis. Those of you who have sisters, those of you who have mothers, those of you who have daughters, embrace them, keep them close, give them your love. As we send our salams to Imam Hussein tonight, every woman I see in a chador, every woman shedding tears, every child crying out for something. I am remembering this night, the night of Shaam-E-Ghariba. With your tears, I know it's been a long day. Today we cried so much for you, Ya Aba Abdullah. But the tragedies don't end here, oh brothers and sisters, with the tears in your eyes. No, Hussein, we're not sending salam on Hussein in Karbala now. Aba Abdullah is not in the holy haram of Karbala. Where is Aba Abdullah? He is in the holy shrine of Zainab. He is in the holy shrine of his daughter Ruqayya, all the way in Sham. Send your salams upon him. As-salamu al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn wa ala awlad al-Husayn wa ala ashab al-Husayn. Those of you who have read the holy book of Mafatil Jinan, written by Sheikh Abbas Qutni, he had a son named Muhaddith Zadeh. He was a khatib as well, a reciter for Aba Abdullah. Once there was an instance where his voice, his throat had a problem. It was getting difficult for him to recite the lamentations for Aba Abdullah. He went from one doctor to another doctor to another doctor, but nobody could answer this person. Nobody could help him with his problem, until one doctor says to him, Ya Ghazadeh, your voice, your throat has been damaged far enough. From now on, you must only whisper. Otherwise, you will lose your voice forever. He says to him these words. Imagine someone who's reciting for Aba Abdullah. Imagine someone says to you that you are never able to say the word Hussein again. You're never allowed to say and cry the word Zainab again. Agha Muhaddith Zadeh, he said, I went home, my family in one room. I went to another room. I began crying to Aba Abdullah. I said, Aba Abdullah, this is how it ends. Am I not allowed to recite for you anymore? He began weeping and crying until he falls asleep. In this dream, he sees two men. One of them is a known reciter from Tehran known as Agha Taba Tabai. Another of them was Aba Abdullah himself, Imam al-Hussein. He says to Agha Taba Tabai, Oh Agha, help me. They tell me my voice, I cannot use it. How can I live without reciting for Aba Abdullah? You know, Agha Taba Tabai says, he says, it's simple, oh Agha Zadeh, it's very simple for you.
just recite Musiba. He says, which Musiba do I recite? He says, recite the Musiba of the 4-year-old daughter of Hussein. He says, how can I? He stood right there. How can I recite the most difficult of Musiba for Abu Abdullah? He says, recite and see how your problems will vanish. Aghazadeh began to recite the tribulations of Ruqayya. He says, I've never seen Abu Abdullah cry so much over a musibah. I was crying myself uncontrollably. All of a sudden, I wake up, I'm full of tears all over my bed, all over my chest. My children are surrounding me. They says, Baba, what has happened to you? The next day, I went to the same doctor who told me that I can't use my voice anymore. He examined me. He sees that the damage that was there before, it has all gone. He says, Aghazadeh, what happened? Yesterday, you had this problem, and it was incurable. And today, it's as though it does not exist. Who did you go to see for this treatment? He said, last night, Hussein visited me, and his 4-year-old daughter, the mercy for all of mankind from the family of the Prophet. This is the family of Hussein. Look at their goodness, look at their hearts. But let us go to Karbala. Be careful, brothers and sisters. In the darkness of this night, I can hear a mother crying out, Bunayya, remember the man who, when he fell from his horse, what did he recite? He recites to Allah, Ya Ghiyat al-Mustaghithin. Only Allah knows how the cheeks of the son of Zahra embraced the sons of Karbala when he fell on the lion. After they martyred Abu Abdullah, after they severed his head, it was not enough for them. You think they had mercy? You think they had mercy upon the women of Abu Abdullah? Hilali, I was listening to one of his musibas recently. He says these men were animals. They were animalistic. They had no mercy. You know what they were saying to the women and children? Run, run away. They say, where do we run? Run into the desert. Just run away from here. You know the desert, it's cold, it's barren. If you go there, there are very slim chances to survive. But they say run to the desert, for this place is more dangerous. Tell me what they did. Oh Imam Sajjad, oh Lady Zainab, what did they do? A poet describes the scene. The tents were on fire, like the fire on Zahra's door. The tents were on fire, like the fire on Zahra's door. I see women running between them with burning chadors. They are running, calling out the names of their fathers, calling the names of their brothers, crying their names. Like how? Crying their names the way Fatima cried for Haydar. What did they do on Shaam-E-Ghariba? What did they do on this night? They placed the body of Abu Abdullah on the ground. They were not enough. They severed his hand. They shoot arrows. They give him all the wounds, but this is not enough. They put the body of Abu Abdullah on the ground. They get a stampede of horses to trample the son of Zahra. Do you know what they say? They say the blood and skin of Hussein was mixed with the sons of Karbala. Ya Abu Abdullah, Ya
Ya Hussein. Imagine the scene, imagine the burning tents, imagine there is a fire, but from the fire there is a woman coming out holding a young man. Do you know what they are saying? They say, we look forward, we didn't know who this woman was. Who is this man? Who is this, oh brothers and sisters? They see it is Lady Zainab with the Imam Sanjad, trying to evade the tents on fire, trying to survive this. This was no ordinary night. Imam Sajjad, he says that I saw something peculiar that night. I saw my aunt Zainab reading Salatul Layl while sitting down. Oh brothers and sisters, they were not normal people. Their Salatul Layl was wajib to them. Their mustahab was wajib to them. That's how they treated it. But this is a night where Lady Zainab is praying on the ground. Imam Sajjad says, Amma Zainab, oh my aunt Zainab, why are you not standing up? Why are you sitting down? She says, oh my nephew Sajjad, I am tired from chasing after the children, from trying to help the women. I cannot bear to stand up and pray the salat. Lady Zainab, just like the darkness of this night, she goes into the battlefield. She sees something different about the battlefield. She sees a small young girl besides a body. She goes closer. She goes closer to see what is happening. She sees that this is the daughter of Hussein. Oh my niece, why are you here? Why are you in the darkness of Karbala? She says, I could not sleep. I was looking for my father, Abu Abdullah, whose body is this that I am sat next to, that does not have a head. Lady Zainab says, oh my niece, this is the body of your father, Abu Abdullah. Imagine the scene. This is the body, the chest that she used to sleep on every night. She used to find only ease upon the chest of Hussein. What can she do now? Does she place her head beside the chest? Because there are too many arrows. This is the only way she can find peace tonight. Please bear with me. Tonight is the night of Musibah. I want to recite a few words about what they did to the orphan of Abu Abdullah. Imagine what is happening. They take her to Sham. They take her to Kufa. In the prisons of Sham, let us see what is happening to Lady Ruqayya. Let us hear from her words. She says, a poet tries to describe what she is going through. She says, she would say to the moon and the sky, she would say to the moon and the sky, you are my only candle in the night. She would say to the moon and the sky, you are my only candle in the night. Whenever I want to remember my uncle, I will look towards your moonlight. She's speaking to the moon now. What does she say? Within you are moon, I see my uncle. Within you are moon, I see my uncle. But I ask you, where is my father? Why is she asking this? She says to the moon, tell him your daughter misses you. Your daughter misses you. And now in Sham she is a prisoner. And now in the prisons of Sham she is a prisoner. Oh Baba, from Karbala they would beat up your daughter. Oh Baba, the way Lady Ruqayya was killed, she was asking for her father to return to her, but all they gave was the head of Hussein. This is all the consolation she gets. I want to end with one last musibah dedicated to Ruqayya about what happened. After the martyrdom of Lady Ruqayya, a woman comes, they had to examine the body, they had to find out why did she die, they can't just leave it like this. A woman comes, she examines the body of this 4-year-old girl, she begins to cry, she says to Sajjad, oh man, oh women, did this young girl have a serious illness? Sajjad says, why do you ask this, oh woman? Because I have never seen so many bruises and wounds in such a small young girl. Sajjad says, oh woman, this is not an illness. This is from the harsh beatings, from the mayhem. As we would travel between Karbala and Sham, they would whip us, they would kick us, and they would never feed us water. Sallallahu alayka ya Mawlai, ya ibna Rasulallah. Sallallahu alayka ya Mawlai, ya Aba Abdullah. Cry your tears as you see these girls walking past in the middle. This is how it was like. They were chained, but the difference is, brothers and sisters, our women here are surrounded by their loved ones. But the women of Karbala were surrounded by the likes of Shima, by the likes of Yazid. Cry for Abu Abdullah, beat your chest for Zainab tonight.
क्या रहा ख़ैमों में शहके एक उदासी रह गई क्या रहा ख़ैमों में शहके एक उदासी रह गई क्या रहा क्या रहा खैमों में शह के एक उदासी रह गई। मादरे असगर न बैठी साए में असगर के बाद। मादरे असगर न बैठी साए में असगर के बाद। साए में आई तो जिंदा लाश बाकी रह गई। क्या रहा खैमों में शह के एक उदासी रह गई। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज आ रही है। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज आ रही है। अब लौट आ मुसाफिर, अब लौट आ मुसाफिर, ज़हरा बुला रही है। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज आ रही है। मेहंदी लगाऊंगी मैं, सेहरा सजाऊंगी मैं। अरमान है ये माँ का, दुल्हन भी लाऊंगी मैं। अब लौट आओ कासिम, अब लौट आओ कासिम, फरवा बुला रही है। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज आ रही है। ऐन और मोहम्मद तुम जिनमें कहते थे, सुनी है अब वो गलियां, वीरान है वो हुजरे। अब लौट आओ प्यारो, अब लौट आओ प्यारो, दुखियां बुला रही है। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज आ रही है। माँ धूप में रहेगी, फरियाद भी करेगी। जब तक ना आओगे तुम पानी नहीं पिएगी। अब लौट आओ असगर, अब लौट आओ असगर, ममता बुला रही है। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज आ रही है। बस वार से अली से फरहान और मजहर करते हैं दिल की बातें, फर्शे अज़ाब बिछाकर। अब लौट आओ मौला, अब लौट आओ मौला, दुनिया बुला रही है। उजड़े हुए घरों से आवाज
to help us. Lady Zainab speaking to Abu Abdullah. Tell us what happened after you, Ya Abu Abdullah. Tell us, oh Lady Zainab. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, your every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death, there's no one to help us. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death, there's no one to help us. Oh, my brother, look at your sister. Oh, my brother, look at your sister. Just like our mother, I have been broken. I have been broken. If you saw me now, you would lower your gaze. With the bruises and wounds, I now cover my face. You will not recognize me, oh my Hussein. If you saw me now, you would lower your gaze. With the bruises and wounds, I now cover my face. You will not recognize me, oh my Hussein. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death, there's no one to help us. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death, there's no one to help us. Help me, brother, it is your daughter. Help me, brother, it is your daughter. Even I offer, she won't drink water. She won't drink water. Help me, brother, it is your daughter. Even I offer her, she won't drink water. She won't drink water. Every day and night she cries for her father. Every day and night she cries for her father. She says, how can I drink before my Asghar? Help me, brother, I am afraid we'll lose her. Every day and night she cries for her father. She says, how can I drink before my Asghar? Help me, brother, I am afraid we'll lose her. Oh, my brother, are you standing next to a father? Oh, my brother, did you make sure Abbas got water? Oh, my brother, please ease the heart of our mother. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death, there's no one to help us. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death, there's no one to help us. Did you hear me, oh son of Ali? Did you hear me, oh son of Ali? I cried out your name. I was there, Hussein. I was there, Hussein. Did you hear me, O son of Ali? I cried out your name. I was there, Hussein. I was there, Hussein. When they struck your neck and raised your head on spears. When they struck your neck and raised your head on spears. I forgot the burning tents and my burnt tears. With the ashes of my veil I wept my tears. When they struck your neck and raised your head on spears. I forgot the burning tents and my burnt tears. With the ashes of my veil I wept my tears. I could not bear, what does Zainab not bear? I could not bear seeing you carry Ali Akbar. I could not bear you return alone from the river. I could not bear your hands burying Ali Asghar. After you left, there is no one here to us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death there's no one to help us. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death there's no one to help us. After you left, there is no one here to protect us. After you left, every night your orphans are restless. After you left, besides death there's no one to help us. Ya Ahl al-Olam, Ya Ahl al-Olam, قتل الحسين بكربلاء أتشانا 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 يا أهل العالم يا أهل العالم قتل الحسين بكربلاء أتشانا 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 لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله علي ولي الله علي ولي الله علي ولي الله نادى علي يا مظهر العجائب نادى علي يا مظهر العجائب تجد لعلك في النوائب كل هم الوغم سينجلي كل هم الوغم سينجلي. From your cause, from your heart, especially on this night, cry out to Allah. بعظمتك يا الله بعظمتك يا الله بنبوتك يا محمد بنبوتك يا محمد. For the love of Zainab, بولايتك علي 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 يا حيدر يا يا حيدر يا حيدر يا زينب 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 يا حجة ابن الحسن أنجل ظهورك. Every night we give salam to Abu Abdullah. Today we give salam to Abu Shaam-E-Ghariba for our time. If Zahra is crying out for Hussein in Karbala, she is also crying out for her son, the Yusuf of Zahra. Inshallah, we'll end this last night with dua faraj, especially remembering the Imam of our time. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Allahumma kul liwaliyika al-Wanjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala abaihi fi hadhihi as-sa'a wa fi kulli sa'a waliya وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وإلا حتى تسكنه أرضك تهوى وتمتعه فيها طويلا. بمظلوم كربلاء يا حسين، بمظلوم مدينة يا زهراء. With your hajat, with the wishes in your heart, pray them tonight. Cry with Zainab and pray them. Like the Muhaddis Zadeh, how Ruqayya cured his problems, Lady Zainab and Ruqayya will cure your problems tonight, inshallah. Inshallah, may Allah remove all your hardships and accept your hajat. For all the marhumeen and mu'minat, especially for the shuhada around the world, especially the shuhada mudafin haram, the ones who are defending the haram of Lady Zainab, especially for all the marhumeen and mu'minat of the brothers and sisters involved with this program and any other program in the UK and in the world, for all those involved in these programs who cried for Abu Abdullah, even those who were not able to shed a tear but heard the word Hussein, for all the marhumeen and mu'minat, especially for those who have no one to recite Surah Fatiha for them, who recite aloud salawat to the Surah Fatiha after. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad